Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Gia's Crochet. This week I'm going to show you how to crochet a circle. This is going to be an absolute beginner's tutorial, so I'm going to be going very slow and I will be showing you how to do the circle step by step. If you still find this video difficult, please leave your questions in the comments below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Now that's all out of the way, you can grab your tea, a cozy blanket, and let's begin. So for this pattern, you're going to be needing yarn, some scissors, and a hook. You can also use a darning needle, but that is not necessary for this project. I'm using a 6.5mm crochet hook and some thick yarn because I want this stitches to be noticeable because this is a beginner's tutorial. To start off making your circle, you're going to first make an adjustable loop. To make an adjustable loop, you're going to get your end of your yarn and your two fingers. Wrap the yarn in front of your fingers, grab the long end of the yarn, wrap it around like so, so you have this X formation. Now you're going to grab your hook, go through the first loop, grab the yarn in the back, pull up, and then grab yarn and chain one. Now you have your adjustable loop. And now we're going to insert 6 single crochets into this loop. So you're going to insert your hook into the loop like so, grab some yarn, pull up, you have 2 loops on your hook, grab more yarn, and pull through both of them. You have just made a single crochet. And now you're going to make 6 single crochets until you get to the very end. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now that you have your 6 single crochets, you should have this little string of yarn that's hanging out, and you're just going to pull on it. When you pull, you should notice that the center loop gets smaller. Now you're going to count backwards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Insert your hook into that 6th stitch, grab some yarn, pull through, and that same yarn, pull through. And now you're going to chain 1. For round 2, you're going to increase in each stitch. To do an increase, you're going to insert 2 single crochets in each stitch. So for round 1, we did 6 single crochets, and at the end of round 2, we should have a total of 12. So insert your hook into the same place where you slip stitched, and do a single crochet. And into that same place, insert your hook and do another single crochet. Now go to your next stitch and do 2 more single crochets. There's 1 and then there's 2. Now go to your next and do another 2, 1 and 2, and keep doing increases until you get to the very end. You should have a total of 12 single crochets. Once you make it to the end, you should notice that you have this little stitch left over. You're not going to be doing an increase in that stitch. That is what I'd like to call a fake stitch or a pretend stitch, so you're not going to do anything into it. Again, you should have a total of 12 single crochets. And now, to end this off, you're going to insert your hook into the very first single crochet that you've done and slip stitch. And now we're on to round 3. For round 3, we're going to start off with the chain 1 into your very first single crochet into the place where we slip stitched. We're just going to do 1 single crochet. And now for the next one, we're going to do an increase. So into your second stitch, you're going to do 2 stitches together. There's 1 and there's another one. So the repeat for round 3 is you're going to do 1 single crochet in the next stitch and an increase in the next stitch. I'm going to show you a few more times. So into the next one, you're going to do a single crochet by itself. And for the one after that, you're going to do an increase. So we have 1 and now we have 2. I'm going to show you one more time. So insert your hook, grab your yarn and do a single crochet by itself, and into the next one you're going to do 2 single crochets together. There's 1 and there's 2. Continue doing that repeat of 1 single crochet in the next stitch and an increase in the next stitch until you get to the very end. I'm at the end of round 3 and you should have a total of 18 single crochets. Once again, you have that little pretend stitch at the end which you're not going to work into. The last stitch that you've done, you should have done an increase. So now to end the round 3, you're going to slip stitch into your very first single crochet and chain 1. Now we're on round 4. So for round 4, you're going to do a single crochet into your very first stitch. You're going to single crochet into the next. So you have 2 separate single crochets. And into your third stitch, you're going to do an increase. So you're going to place 2 single crochets into the next stitch. 1 and 2. And that is our repeat for round 4. So you're going to do 2 single crochets separately and then an increase. So 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next, you have 2 separate, and now you're going to do an increase. So 1 together and 2. I'm going to show you one more time. So do a single crochet in the next stitch, a single crochet in the next, and then an increase. So you're going to repeat the pattern, 2 single crochets and then an increase until you get to the very end. The last stitch you do should be an increase. I'm here at the end of round 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, round 4. And you should have ended off with 2 single crochets together. And now you're going to slip stitch into your very first single crochet and chain 1. And now we're on to round 5. And for this round, you're going to do 3 single crochets, 1 single crochet in the first stitch, 1 in the next, and 1 in the next. So you have 3 separate single crochets. And into your fourth stitch, you're going to do an increase. So 1 and 2. So your repeat for round 5 is you're going to do 3 single crochets separately, and then you're going to do an increase. So I'm going to show you one more time. So there's 1 single crochet, there's another single crochet, and then your third single crochet. And now you're going to do an increase. So 1 and 2. So you're going to repeat that pattern until the end of the round. So 3 single crochets and then an increase, 3 single crochets and then an increase until you get to the very end. You should once again end with an increase. I'm at the end of round 5. You should have a total of 30 single crochets and you should have ended off with an increase. To end off this round, you're going to slip stitch into your very first single crochet and chain 1. Now we're on round 6. To start round 6, you're going to do a single crochet in the first stitch, second stitch, third stitch, and into your fourth stitch. So you have 4 single crochets, and now into your fifth one, you're going to do an increase. So 1 and 2 together. That is your repeat for this round. You're going to do 4 single crochets and then an increase until you get to the very end. I'm going to show you one more time. So single crochet in the first 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And into your fifth stitch, you're going to increase. Repeat that pattern of 4 single crochets and an increase until you get to the very end. Again, you should end with an increase. I'm here at the end of round 6. You should have ended off with an increase, and now you're going to slip stitch into your very first single crochet. You should have a total of 36 single crochets in total. And now we're going to chain 1. Before I continue, I would like to show you the pattern that's been going on. So you should have noticed that while you're crocheting each round, you have an extra single crochet. For example, in round 5 we had 3 single crochets and an increase, and then in round 6 we had 4 single crochets and then an increase, and then round 7 we had 5, and then 8 we had 6. See how it goes in order from 1, 2, 3, 4 all the way down. So this is the pattern for your rounds. If you want to do more than 10 rounds, then you can just keep continuing on with this pattern. So 8 for round 11, you would have 9 and then an increase, and then for round 12 you would have 10 and then an increase, and so on and so forth. Another thing that you should notice is that at the end of each round you're adding 6. So you had 6 originally, and then you add another 6 for round 2. And then in round 3, you have another 6 for a total of 18. And for round 4, you add another 6 for a total of 24. And so on. And the third thing that you should notice is that each stitch, this right here, equals to what round you're on. So for round 3, you have 1 single crochet and then an increase. The increase is 2 single crochets. So you have 2 plus 1, which is 3. And now let's look at round 6. An increase is 2, so 4 plus 2 is 6. So they all equal how many, as many stitches as there are in one repeat is equivalent to what round you're on. So I just wanted to point that out. This is the pattern if you need it, and if you want a bigger circle, then you can just keep writing the pattern. And yeah, this is just an easier way to show you what we're doing. Now let's get back to the pattern. So we've just finished round 6, and we've already slip stitched and chain 1, and once again you should have had a total of 36 single crochets. And now we're on to round 7. And for round 7, you're going to start off by single crocheting 5. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now into your 6th stitch, you're going to do an increase. So you have 1 and 2 in the same stitch. And that is your repeat for round 7. So you're going to do 5 single crochets and then an increase, 5 single crochets and then an increase all the way around until you get to the very end. And here at the end of round 7, you should have a total of 42 single crochets, and you should have ended with a increase. And now to end off this round, you're going to slip stitch into your very first single crochet and chain 1. And now we're on to round 8. For round 8, you're going to start off by single crocheting 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And now you're going to do an increase into your 7th stitch. So your repeat for round 8 is you're going to do 6 single crochets and then an increase all the way around until you get to the very end. You should have a total of 48 single crochets. I'm going to show you one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And now you're going to do an increase of 2 more. Repeat that all the way until the end. I'm here at the end of round 8. You should have a total of 48 single crochets, and you always at the end of every round have to end on an increase. And now to finish this off, we're going to slip stitch into your very first single crochet and chain 1. And now we're on to round 9. To start off round 9, you're going to do 7 single crochets. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And now you're going to do an increase into the next stitch. So 1 and 2 together. So that is your repeat for round 9. You're going to do 7 single crochets and then an increase, 7 single crochets and then an increase, all the way around until you get to the very end. You should have a total of 54 single crochets. I'm here at the end of round 9, and now I'm just going to slip stitch into my very first single crochet and chain 1. And now we're on to round 10. 10 is the last round that I'm going to do, but before I do so, I just want to show you how my circle looks right now. This is how it looks. It looks not like a perfect circle right now, but I will at the end, so just keep that in mind. And now we're going to start off round 10. To start off round 10, you're going to do 8 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And into the next stitch, we're going to increase. So 1 and 2. So now you're going to repeat the pattern of single crocheting 8 and doing an increase until you get to the very end. At the end, you should have a total of 60 single crochets. I'm at the end of round 10, and I'm just going to zoom out real quick. Excuse the book. And you should have a total of 60 single crochets. And now I'm going to slip stitch and chain 1. This is how it looks like so far. Of course, it doesn't look like a perfect circle, but what I think that is helpful for me to get the little corners out of the way so it looks like a perfect circle is to just do a round of single crochets. But the single crochets have to be loose, because if you do it tightly, then it's going to start bending upwards and it's not going to flatten out. So you're going to do a round of loose single crochets. So in each stitch, you're just going to do a very loose single crochet. And I will meet you at the end. You should have a total of 60 single crochets if you ended off on round 10. I'm here at the very end, and now I'm just going to end off with a slip stitch and a chain 1. And now you can just cut a little piece of yarn and pull through and weave it in. If it looks like it's wavy or it's not even, then a way that you could flatten it out is you can just spray some water on it and then leave something like a pot on top of it and leave it in the sun to dry. And then you can wait a few hours, take the pot off, and it should be nice and flat. Or you can just start your project loosely, so you can do loose stitches all the way around for it to be completely flat. But if it's not flat, then you can just spray water, put something on top of it, and leave it in the sun to dry. And that is how you crochet your circle. You should notice that after you've done your round of single crochets that it's become a lot flatter and a lot less pointy on the sides. And if you are making this for a basket or something along those lines, then you should know that this side, the side that's facing you, is the outside, and this side is on the inside. The side on the inside should have the tail sticking out. So if you are going to make a basket, make sure that this side is facing inwards and this side is facing outwards. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this week's video. If you did, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. It would really mean a lot to me. And if you would like to see another video on a different topic, please let me know in the comments below, or let me know what you want to see next. For my next video, I was planning on doing a how to crochet a basket tutorial with a lid. So I will be posting this video first so it could help you on your basket. Because for the basket, you're going to need to know how to do the base, and for that video, I'm going to be going a little fast. So if you find that video a little bit difficult, and you can come back and watch this video, and then go back to that video to make your basket. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this week's video, and I'll see you next week. Bye!